everybody. Welcome to Functional Training. This is Mike here. I hope everyone's having a great week so far. And you can get outside even though it's a little rainy and just take a break for yourself. So today we're going to do functional training involving a lot of different movements and balance and coordination. And we're going to switch up a couple little things that we would normally do. So we're going to start with a warm up. Make sure you have plenty of space around you. And we're going to do some lunge pivot with the reach just to open up and mobilize our lower body. Okay, everyone? So let's get up, get moving. So to start, we're going to do big lunge position. So exaggerate that lunge. And if your right foot is in front, you're going to take your left hand. As you go down into the lunge, you're just going to reach across your body. So if you're in this position, reaching across your body just like that. You don't need to reach too far with the hand. Just a little bit of a pull, you'll feel that in the hip flexor. And then you're going to pivot. So we'll switch, reach, pivot your feet, and then again. Okay? And continue that. This is really helpful for your footwork and your balance and coordination. You're able to tell when you pivot and change your position, your equilibrium is harder to maintain. And you're getting a good dynamic stretch at the same time. And you might notice something a little different. Although I am obviously at home in the comfort of my own home, I don't have any shoes on, and I do that for a reason. And I'm hoping that maybe you can do that as well. If you're at home, to really improve our balance, it's important to recognize and pay attention to the small little intricate muscles that are at work to help stabilize. And when you're doing a lot of movements that involve balance, you'll come to realize that small little changes can affect the stability. I'll stop right there. So try, if you can, to remove your shoes so that your foot can grasp and grip and contract on the base, so on the floor. You can really dig in and it'll really help with the balance. Sometimes if you're wearing a certain kind of shoes, it can really negatively impact your balance. Okay, now we're down to the floor. And we're going to do some bird dog movements. So in a 4-point position, hands and knees. Start with your right arm fully extended and your left leg. Make sure you have room. So we're here. And be sure to lift your leg as high as you can. Contract the glutes and keep it up there so it doesn't go towards the floor. And you're going to hold that for a few seconds just to engage those muscles. And now we're going to pull to the middle, so meeting the elbow to the knee under the body, and then fully extend and hold again for about 3 seconds. Contracting the glutes, stabilizing the core, and stretching with the shoulder there, and then back in, and extend. 3, 2, 1. We'll do a couple more. In, out. 3, 2, 1. Last one. Squeeze and hold for 3, 2, 1, and down. Remember, it's important, quality over quantity. So as opposed to doing this, which is what we typically see, people when they do the bird dog exercise, it's really all about the warm up, the focus, and you're contracting, engaging those muscles and stabilizing. Okay, so switch back to the 4-point starting position. Left arm, right leg, making sure the leg is nice and high. Try to do a few pulses so you can feel the glutes at work. Holding the arm extended out. Ready? Come to the middle. Extend forward. Put the arm up and back with the leg and hold. And repeat. And hold. 3, 2, 1. Again. 3, 2, 1. 2 more. 3, 2, 1. Last one. Hold. 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Okay, take a couple breaths there. Some shoulder shrugs. A couple little neck circles. Beautiful. Okay, all right. Staying in this down position on the floor, we're going to warm up more of the hip-related muscles, so the glutes. So in a 4-point position, you would have been here. And then you're going to shift your weight to one side. Take your leg out beside you, have your hand on your hip, Lean a bit to that side so you can lift your leg up. So, and you're going to do leg lifts just like this. Okay, so leg lifts, really going to work the glutes there. And then hold it and then do circles. Opposite direction. And done, switching sides. Now you're here. Other up and down just to start. Small range of motion. Don't go too high. Don't let it touch the floor either. It's constantly working. And circles. Opposite direction. Hold and relax. Okay, great. That was our warm up. So take a little bit of a water break. And in about 30 seconds, we'll start our bigger movement. So you're going to need a couple hand weights and we'll get started, okay? So what I was mentioning earlier about removing the shoes is it will really make you become more mindful and connected to the movements. So if we're doing a lot of balance, that requires a lot of your attention and higher quality movement and efficiency. So sometimes if you remove the shoes, it can help you grip better and you can actually realize where your weak points are. So when you are balancing, you can pinpoint some of the limiting factors as to what's contributing to poor balance. And your feet on the ground, this is old school and natural as it gets. So we're just going to try that. Sometimes depending on the type of shoe you have, it can make balancing more difficult. And while you're at home working out, we have this advantage where we can do whatever we want and wear whatever we want, right? Less so at a gym. Okay, so we're going to do our 3-point lunges without the shoes. So remember, 3-point lunge, forward lunge, stepping back to the middle. Lateral lunge, back to the middle, and then reverse lunge. And you're only going down about 3/4 of the way. Don't touch your knee to the ground, and it's not a full lunge in that capacity. Okay? But of course, we have dynamic balance involved here. So the leg lift, go forward, lifting the leg up on the return, transitioning to the side lunge, lifting the leg up. That's the hard one. And then reverse lunge, lifting the leg up. And here we go. Continue. 1, lift, 2, lift. That's that hard one. 3, lift. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, lift, 2, 3, lift. Last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Shake it off a bit, and we'll do the other side. Okay. All right, left foot is our lead leg. Here we go. Forward, lift. Side lunge, lift, and reverse. Okay, here we go. 1, lift. 2, 2 more. Last one. And done. Okay, awesome. Walk around. Hopefully you could pay attention to what your feet were doing, how they were responding to the balance. Okay. And now we're going to be heading down to the floor, and you're going to need 1 hand weight. Before you go all the way down to the floor, remember transition. So half kneeling position here, just to kind of slow down the heart rate and the breathing. So if you go down to the floor too quickly, while your heart rate is elevated, you can get dizzy, okay? And each movement and exercise we do, we want to have the same level of quality efficiency. You don't want certain exercises to be done poorly because you're exhausted. So you can do that kind of workout right till failure, high intensity interval training where you're going till failure, but that means that it's impossible to maintain the same level of quality for every single repetition if you're exhausted, okay? So it's always important to bring it back down, prepare yourself for the movements. They're all high quality. Okay, so we're gonna do our plank with the pull through. So basically you are going to be in a push-up style plank. So we are prone facing the floor in a ready push-up position, taking the weight from one side of the body, reaching underneath the body, return to the push-up position, and then switch. So reach underneath here. To show you again, you're here, you're gonna reach underneath, grab the weight, transfer it to the other outside. Here we go. Try to keep your hips as level as possible while your upper body is shifting. One more each. Pull, return, pull, turn, drop the knees, sit back, couple deep breaths. Transitioning to that half kneeling position. Couple more breaths here. And then standing up all the way. Great. Just push that weight off to the side and drink of water. So hopefully you've noticed a little bit of a difference when you remove your shoes. You're doing exercises that require a great deal of stability and balance. And if you are comparing between a basketball shoe or a sneaker or a training shoe and a running shoe, it might all be different. Some are more flat, some have more weight to them, more cushion. The material might be thicker, and you might not be able to feel those little intricate contractions when you're balancing, when you're holding your weight up. And if you do it barefoot, you will really notice it. So this will really help you become more mindful when performing dynamic balance exercises, so that when you do put the shoes back on, they'll still be there, just you'll have that added layer on top of that. Okay? All right. So grab 2 weights. This next one's a bit of a challenge. We're going to do our half burpee to a front raise. This is a more intermediate advanced level of difficulty. So what we're going to do is, having the weights down on the floor beside you, you're going to plant your hands down, jump backwards, return into the jump as if you're doing a full burpee, but then you take the weights and you're going to swing them up into a forward raise. Your shoulders are working, the core and a hinge of your lower body to raise the weights up. So this will be the finishing movement, just above shoulder level. Drop them down, hands, half burpee, and repeat. Here we go. Down. 1, 2, raise. 1, 2, raise. Four more. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and done. Okay, walk it off, drop those weights down. Active recovery, stay moving. Try not to sit down. That one will really increase the heart rate. So take your time here in recovery mode. So next, you're going to need a heavier weight. I have a kettlebell. If you don't, that's okay. A hand weight or a heavy ball, but it would be ideal if it had a big grip for the hand. Okay. Something a little heavier than what we're just working with. Okay, so now more muscular endurance with an isometric component, which means a held contraction. There's no lengthening or shortening of the muscle. It's maintaining a constant static contraction under tension. So we're going to do our squat figure 8 drill. So have the weight in the middle. You're going to have a half squat position, so not parallel and not past that, but about halfway down. Feet a little closer together, and you're going to pass the weight through your legs in a figure 8 pattern. Just like so. Here we go. Not too quick, so you get the hang of it. Hand off, a lot of hand-eye coordination here. Now pause, and I'll go back the other way. Now it's starting to burn. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, there we go. All right, set that weight down. Another active recovery. Stay moving. Okay, quick drink of water, and then we're down to the floor again. Okay, so remember transitioning. Half kneeling first. A couple more mindful breaths. Okay, and then sitting down on the heels is the next level. Now you should be able to tell that your heart rate is slowing down a little bit, and the breathing rate as well. Okay, and now we're going to transition all the way down in a seated position. And we're going to wait right here again. And now you work all your way from a high intensity exercise upright, down all the way to the floor, one level at a time. Okay, so we're going to start with some Russian twists, no weight or anything. Importance here is feet planted on the floor. Instead of being upright, you're leaning back. So you have a V position, lifting your feet off the ground. They don't need to be super high, just don't touch the floor. Hands here by your chest. You're going to rotate slightly so that your hands pass the knee and you can touch the floor. So it's here to touch. You're not twisting. There's no ballistic, excessive range of motion. Just here, reaching slightly over the leg, touch the floor. And alternate. Here we go. Ten, 8, 6, 4, 2, and done. Lean forward, rest your feet on the floor, hands behind you. We're going to do our tabletop position. So you're here, and you're going to thrust the hips up, and you're just going to extend one leg out, and then lift it as high as you can, and hold it right here. Just hold this one-legged tabletop, set the foot down, switch. Working the glutes here a bit, upper body stabilization, and just alternate every few seconds, keeping it elevated the whole time. Two more. and drop it down. Now we're going to do a figure 8 with our legs. Another good core exercise. So same thing, hands behind you, feet planted on the floor to start. Lift them up, extend them out a bit. And now you're going to draw that figure 8 pattern with your legs. Draw that invisible figure 8. Point your toes forwards. There we go. Core is engaged. Opposite direction, switch. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. All right. So that's it for that. Now we're going to head into our cool down. So what you're going to do from here is drop your right leg to the floor, your back leg behind you. Both are slightly bent, leaning off to one side. And then pull your weight towards the middle over top of the front leg. And you're going to feel a little bit of the hips on the back leg and the glutes here on the front leg. Leaning forward a little bit to get more of that glute stretch from the front. And then when you're able to, try to extend your back leg. So from the side is here, and then you're here over top of that leg and resting here over top. If that's too much, drop your weight to the floor and hold it in that position, or bend the back leg. And now we're going to switch. Okay, so now it's this leg in front, this leg behind. Start with them bent, leaning to one side. And then you can start extending that back leg more in this position, and you'll feel the hip flexors stretching. And then try to extend it, leaning over top of your front leg, and then eventually lifting. You can drop it down if it's too much. Lean off to the side. Okay, now in a half kneeling position, lunge position on the floor, 90-degree angle with both legs. We're going to do the hip flexor stretch. So leaning forward and turning your body slightly towards the front leg, and just hold that position. And if you want to increase the intensity, the point of tension, not pain, you can rotate a bit more, or like the beginning, you can reach across the body over top with the opposite arm. So left arm, right leg. If that's too much, just return to that first stage. Pull it back to release the stretch. And once more, try to push yourself a little further beyond that. Rotate slightly. Add the reach if you need to. I don't need to. Pulling it back and switching sides. Okay, 90-degree angles, leaning forward, rotate slightly, and if you want, you can do the reach. Pull it back to the middle, release the stretch for a second, and back into it. Back to the middle, both knees, cat-cow stretch, the 4-point position, hands under the shoulders, and arcing the back nice and high, engage the core muscles, and then relax them into the curvature of the lumbar spine, sinking down, and now arc again. Down, up, down, one more each. Okay, now sitting down the heels from that position, reaching the arms forward and hold this child's pose stretch. Slide it back, take a deep breath in through your nose. And out through the mouth. And that is it. Okay, So thank you everyone for joining Functional Training Workout on IGTV, YouTube, or live here right now. Thank you so much, and hope you had a good little workout. Enjoy the rest of your week, and be well. Stay safe. Thanks.